Welcome everyone to the Save Schizophrenic podcast. This is episode 36, I believe. Today's episode is going to be a bit tough for me. I had a different idea for the topic today. I honestly did. The original topic had to do with the difference between little faith and some faith. But like usual, my schizophrenia decided to obliterate my plan, literally. So today I am uploading this video just to talk to you guys about to try to explain what's going on. I can tell by this morning that probably 99% chance that what is going on is the beginning of a psychotic episode. In the past they've lasted days to weeks. Hard to judge how long it would last. But yeah. And so my schizophrenia just messed up what I originally planned to do today for our video. But yeah, like the title of the video suggests, I'm going to be discussing two visual hallucinations, if you want to call them that. I don't really like the term hallucinations for a number of reasons. That's my own personal preference or opinion. I don't really want to get into that. It's another conversation, honestly. So whether you want to call them hallucinations, spirits, demons, I don't care what you call them. I just know this morning my schizophrenia definitely was just like, nope, it's we're gonna cause some issues today or this weekend or whatever for a week or 2 weeks. But yeah, we are discussing in this video two specific visual hallucinations that I'm struggling with right now. They go by the names of Skylar and Cheyenne. In the description of this video, I'm going to include a link to my WordPress that allows you to see some AI-generated pictures. What I like to do, or what I try to do, is based on what I hear and see. I try to make it so you guys can see what I see. For me, it helps me a lot if I can show people what I'm experiencing rather than just tell them. So if you go to that link, it will be to my WordPress, and you guys will be able to see a picture of both Cheyenne and Skylar, of what they look like, at least in my eyes, of what I see. So check it out. Also, there's a description of both of them that you can read, so that is there. But yeah. Before we get into the video itself, I'm not sure how long this video will be. God only knows. Before we get into the video, there probably will be some explicit language, some profanity, so if you're easily offended, if you think curse words are bad or vulgar language is, inappropriate, probably you shouldn't watch this video. You should probably skip it. Like, go to another video. If you're super religious and you think swearing is blasphemous or blasphemous or however you say the word, this video probably isn't for you. But there's probably going to be some explicit language for sure. Sorry guys for stopping the video. I'm in the shared living room / kitchen of my apartment building. Someone came in, but yeah. Like I was saying, I mean, if you don't like crude language, definitely skip this video. But yeah, the video, like the title says, Skylar and Cheyenne, they're two of my most cunty hallucinations. They are 100% cunts. I mean, there's no other way to say it, no other way to describe it or describe them. Yeah, today's a tough day, tough video. A lot of distractions. A lot of noise. A lot of high volume. A lot of voices. The voices are quite overpowering today. And then Skylar and Cheyenne, they're doing what they're good at. But yeah, like I said, they are two of the biggest cunts in the world. In this video, I'm going to talk about their origin story, really what I would call it, where they started, or at least when they first appeared in my life, or when I came to my illness, when they first showed up, how they first behaved, what they were like, and how they transitioned. But yeah. Before we get into that, really what happened this morning was I woke up at about 3 a.m., not by choice. I was laying there and I was hearing the voices get louder and louder and louder, more rude and just cruel and more evil as the night went on. So by 3 a.m., I couldn't sleep anymore. There was too much going on around me. So I woke up. And that's when Skylar and Cheyenne were there. They were just standing there, watching me sleep. In the past, I probably would have been creeped out. Probably would have been surprised, and had a little bit of fear, but this isn't the past, not anymore. But yeah, they were standing there just staring, watching me sleep. Skylar, I would describe as an emo goth princess. I mean, if you look at the picture, if you click the link to my WordPress that's in the description of this video, you'll see a picture of her. That's how she's always looked about 99% of the time. I mean, even in high school, when I first started seeing her, that's how she looked. But yeah, like an emo goth princess, she prefers wearing all black. She has long black hair, pale skin, pale white skin, red eyes, long black nails that are sharp, a corset with a black skirt, black military boots, kind of, but they're a little bit higher. You know, they go, I don't know, not thigh high, but maybe around her knee, I guess. She sometimes has piercings, sometimes doesn't. She has tattoos on her arms, chest, and neck. I never really asked what they meant or what they mean. I really don't care. I mean, I'm curious, but I don't really want to give her that power of me being curious about that stuff. Just no. But yeah, Skylar is definitely an emo goth princess, is the best way to explain. She was standing there just watching. And then Cheyenne, again, you can see her picture. I would describe her as, I would describe Cheyenne as a Kentucky mountain girl, I guess. She has more of a southern accent, southern slang. The words she uses, the phrase she uses, it's more southern. She likes to wear cowgirl boots, jeans, flannel, with a cross necklace, and blonde hair with a cowgirl hat, blue eyes, a few tattoos as well. But they were just standing there, 3 a.m., just staring. And as soon as I woke up, because of the voices, they started talking. Skylar and Cheyenne started doing their normal fucking thing, which is just insult after insult. Trying their best to manipulate me, to get me to plan to do things that aren't good, that are probably hurtful towards myself, that would put me in harm's way. And they started that at 3 a.m. So goddamn early. So I couldn't fall back to sleep. And yeah, I've been up ever since. As you can see, that would probably throw anyone off their game. Just would throw anyone off balance. But that is why I didn't go with what I originally planned to do today, and I'm making this video. But yeah, they are my two most persistent visual hallucinations, demons, spirits, whatever you want to call them. They are persistent as hell. They really are. Origin stories. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. We'll go with Skylar first. Skylar's origin story starts when I was a junior, senior in high school, around that time. I don't remember if it was junior or senior year, but I remember the day that I first saw her. I was sitting in class, trying to pay attention to the teacher. The teacher's name was Mr. Brennan. Or I don't even know, was that junior year? My memory's so fucked up, it really is. I think I had Mr. Brennan like freshman or sophomore year, so it wasn't him. It was someone else. I forgot their name. But I was trying to pay attention to the teacher, what they were doing, what they were talking about. when I felt a hand on my shoulder. It surprised me because, I was young and I was a teenager and I was sitting in class, and for someone just to put their hand on your shoulder who is behind you, it freaks you out. Um, so it startled me. I didn't like yell or scream. It was more I kind of nearly jumped out of my chair. Like I didn't get out of my chair, but my body just kind of had that, trembling kind of shake to where you jump, a little bit. Um, and when I did that, I do remember the teacher asking me directly, "Are you okay? Is everything fine?" Um, and I replied to the teacher in front of the other students that, "Oh, I'm good. Just feel a little cold." I think I made some shit up. I made something up. um, and so I was sitting there, and the hand was still there, and I could tell right away. I noticed the sharp black nails right away, um, and the pale skin, her hand. And that's when I kind of turned my head and I looked behind me, and there Skylar was. I mean, I guess you could say early 20s. I would say early 20s is what they look like. But early 20s, you know, perfect definition of an emo goth chick. Just standing behind me, just with this sinister smile. I mean, I'll never forget the smile itself, which was, I could tell it was sinister in that moment. Like the smile didn't, like seeing the smile didn't make me happy. Like seeing the smile, I was like, okay, kind of creepy. It reminds me of the movie Smile, I think it's called. They came out with a recent one like a year ago, to where that like spirit or demon possesses people and then they smile and then they kill themselves, or I think they kill themselves or they kill someone else. I think that's the movie. But it's just that very weird, creepy smile. And that's what she made. And so then I tried to focus on class again, which really wasn't working. Because that's when she whispered in my ear. And I found out her name. She told me her name. I mean, she kind of has an accent. A little bit. I mean, what would I describe her accent as? I mean, I guess, what, Eastern Bloc? Kind of like a Russian accent, maybe? Maybe, I guess you could maybe say that. Yeah, Eastern Bloc, kind of Russian accent. Like, it's not thick, but I guess you could kind of tell. But she whispered in my ear, and that's the moment she showed up. I'm not sure exactly what triggered her showing up. I think during that time, there was just a lot of trauma. During that time, I was definitely mentally focused on my childhood, what happened, losing my parents, my dad molested me when I was a kid. And so in high school, I was focused on that a lot. And I was trying to figure out, after being adopted, just what it meant. Like, these people adopted me. Am I really their kid? Are they my parents actually? Should I think of them as my parents? Or what about my biological parents that passed away? Kind of like I was trapped in this catch 22 if I didn't, like, there was no good option. At least I thought there was no good option. And then that was about the time I started experimenting with alcohol and drugs. And I've talked about that in other videos. But yeah, that's when Skylar showed up in my teen years. I think I was about 17, 18. But at first, she wasn't. At first, she wasn't evil per se. She wasn't bad, essentially. Um, in the beginning, when Skylar showed up, she pretended to care. And I only realized that later. Like, she would ask how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, what am I thinking about. She acted like she empathized with me and could relate, and she acted like she cared about just what was going on. She was one of the few people I would talk to on a daily basis and share what I was thinking, what I was feeling. I really didn't talk about that stuff with my adopted parents. I was too afraid. I was scared. I was afraid they would think I was crazy and they would bring me to the hospital and I'd be locked up for God knows how long. I was scared. So I didn't tell them really. I didn't tell them what was going on. I didn't tell them about Skylar. But in the beginning, she was a friend. She was someone who listened. She was there for me. Things started to slowly change with her. As I got into my senior year of high school was when she was more persistent about, parties and drinking and drugs and escaping per se. She started to just persuade me and manipulate me into just believing, escaping, numbing my pain was the right way to go, that it was the right choice, that it's better to numb my pain and not face whatever struggle or trauma that's holding me back. So Skylar, a lot of the time, as time went on, would just be like, you should drink tonight. You should hang out with some friends. You should get high. You should mess around. You should have fun, lose yourself. It'll be good. There were several times she convinced me to turn off my phone so no one could contact me and just escape. There was, I think, several times I ran away because of her. She talked me into running away because, she explained, she was like, this, it's not good for you to be here. Your adopted parents don't understand you. They would never accept you if you told them the truth about me, about what you're hearing, about your paranoia, your delusions. Like, it's better you run away. And so I did. I was hospitalized a couple times. I think one of them was overdosing on pills or cutting myself. That was, a lot of it was her. Of convincing me that if I inflict physical pain on myself, that it would help me forget about the mental pain that I was feeling. A lot of that stuff was her. She was the reason why I said yes. She was so goddamn convincing. But and then in college, Skylar followed me up into college as I got older. She didn't go anywhere. She followed me every step of the way. college, I've talked about in other videos, to where in college was when I became 10 times more sexually active. I was sleeping around with guys, girls. I didn't really care who. Um, I didn't care if they were non-binary, if they were trans, male to female, female to male. Like, I didn't care. I mean, in college, I didn't care if they were he, him, they, them. Like, I simply just didn't give a shit. And that was because I was trying to run away. I was trying to just escape my mind, escape the pain. I was trying to numb myself completely to the point it felt like I wasn't living. That was what I was trying to do. And so Skylar in college was when it took the turn to the dark side, I guess you could say, to where she became a lot more violent, vulgar, evil. Just, there was a lot more of, you should hurt yourself, cut yourself, you don't deserve to live. All this pain is because of you. It's your fault. You're the reason why your biological parents died. They hated you. They weren't proud of you. They didn't love you. It was your fault. Your dad molested you. She was so goddamn mean in college. And so, yeah, I became a lot more sexually active. I was messing around. I was drinking a lot more. I was getting high a lot more. My go-to was needles or powder. Cocaine was my favorite in college. And so I was trying to run away. I was trying to escape from her and just from everything, from my schizophrenia. I mean, in college was where my paranoia just went crazy. My delusions went nuts. I was thinking people were after me, trying to steal my soul, trying to read my mind. I was thinking I was receiving secret coded messages from government organizations, from, but yeah, there was just a lot of paranoia and delusions happening. And Skylar wasn't helping. She made things worse. But like I said, I was just sexually active. I'm very surprised that I didn't pick up any diseases. There was 99% of the time it was unsafe. Like, there was no protection, no condoms, nothing. So I'm surprised I never got HIV. Like, I'm surprised. And so a lot of times what would happen was I would go to parties, drink, get high, have sex. And because of Skylar and just my schizophrenia, I wasn't able to work really. I wasn't able to hold down a job. And so every semester of college, I would take out student loans, the max amount I could, in order to try to pay rent. Or really what would happen is I would take out the max amount of student loans. I would attempt to pay rent as much as I could, and then the remaining amount of money I would use for alcohol and drugs. And then when I didn't have money, I resorted to selling myself. I would allow drug dealers and their friends or whoever to do whatever they wanted to me in exchange for drugs. I would have sex with them and they would give me what I wanted, and sometimes they would let me stay the night and I would have a place to sleep. There's times to where I would do that with strangers and they would give me money, or they would buy alcohol for me, and yeah. I mean, it was quite common that I would wake up in a stranger's bed and be laying with 1, 2, 3 people that I didn't know. It was common that there'd be alcohol bottles all over, drugs on the nightstand, needles. It's quite common. I'd wake up and I'd be bound to their bed, and I would have to ask them to let me out of the handcuffs or to untie my hands. I mean, I really did not care what they did to me because all I cared about was the drugs of escape. I just didn't want to feel, I didn't want to live during that time. And Skylar, I was trying everything I could to escape her. I mean, no matter where I went, whether it was the coffee shop on campus, whether it was the bus, riding the bus, whether it was at my friend's place, um, hanging out with people, no matter where I went, she was there. Um, so I could never escape her. And it got to the point I tried to kill myself several times in college. Obviously, they failed because I'm here with you, talking to you right now, making this video. Yeah, it was, as you can say, institutionalized several times in college. And it surprises me a lot. What surprises me so much is that I was doing so much crazy shit. I was doing so much just out of this world psycho stuff that, and that Skylar was present 24/7, basically, that I still was able to complete my bachelor's, receive a bachelor's. During that time, I somehow made it to Yemen to teach English there for like 10 months. I somehow studied abroad in South Africa for 6 months. Like, I did I did things that I thought weren't possible, especially for someone like me who was so mentally unstable that schizophrenia was so severe, yet I was still able to do those things. I don't understand how that was possible and how it I don't understand how I was able to accomplish those things while being so messed up in the head. Um, yeah. I mean, college was wild. Like, you probably can't imagine, but I can because I did, and it happened. But like, I would just be sitting at the Caribou on campus, or like in the Multicultural Student Center, it's called. I would be sitting there trying to do homework, and then Skylar would be sitting there, insulting me, telling me I should kill myself over and over. And while that's happening, there's other students there trying to talk to me while Skylar's talking to me. And then, I'm seeing things like just like zoo animals walking all over, like lions, tigers, and zebras and polar bears just walking all over. I would, see zombies running all over trying to eat people, like Ghostface just coming up stabbing people. The demons from Hellraiser, like Chucky walking around. The little girl from the Ring movie, crawling out of TVs. Like, I'd be seeing all these things. And in the beginning, I was like, holy shit, like, this is crazy. Like, what's happening? Like, this is. It freaked me out. It did in the beginning. And because it freaked me out, that's probably one of the reasons why I was like, I don't want to live through this. Like, I don't want to experience this anymore. Which led to me trying to kill myself several times. But I completed my bachelor's, and then I got married, which again, it happened. It wasn't a good choice. It wasn't the smart choice. I didn't get married because I wanted to or I thought it was a good idea. Looking back at it, I got married because of a lot of pressure, of community pressure. In college, I was practicing Islam. I would describe myself as Muslim during college. And Islamically, they teach you that marriage is half of your deen, which means faith. So marriage is half of your faith. So you're kind of pressured into getting married. Um, and so that's what happened. I got married. And, it ended disastrously. I think I was married for 3, 4 years, I think it was, to an Indonesian Muslim lady. You know, I'm not going to say anything bad about her because I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, we had our ups and downs. We had our good moments and bad moments. Um, I never told her about my alcoholism or my schizophrenia in the beginning. Never mentioned it. I kept it. I hid it because I know if I told her that she would be like, okay, not interested, get away from me, we're not talking, like I want nothing to do with you. So that's why I didn't tell her. Um, but we were married 3, 4 years. During that time, I was part of the Muslim Student Association. I was in different organizations, got married. So again, like I said before, it's strange to me that I was able to do all those things while being mentally just unstable, while being crazy, psycho, schizophrenic. Like it blows my mind. Like I don't know if it shows a high intelligence. I don't know if it shows that intellectually, like I'm more intellectual than some people. Like, I don't know if that's what it means, but like, I don't know a lot of people that accomplish what I accomplished while being schizophrenic. I got my bachelor's, got married, and then I moved to Indonesia and I taught English in Indonesia, in Thailand, went to Malaysia, Singapore. Like, I traveled a bit while being schizophrenic. Like, and Skylar followed me to all those places. Oh, I remember being married and like me and my ex-wife, like we'd be in the house, we'd be sitting on the couch or eating out or seeing a movie, like whatever. And Skylar would be there just watching, talking to me, listening, saying just a whole bunch of crap that I didn't want to hear. And my ex-wife, did I love my ex-wife? Honestly, I would say no. I cared about her. She was a good person. She had a good heart. She meant well. Um, but I didn't love her. I thought of her more as a friend, as someone close to me. But I didn't have that romantic feeling of love for her. I mean that I know that shows and proves that I'm probably a terrible human being. Like I'm a bad person and I'm willing to accept that. Um, but yeah, she was a good person. She tried. She was a practicing Muslim. She prayed as many times a day as she could. She fasted. She gave zakat or whatever. She read Quran. She memorized some of it. Like she did what she did. She tried to be a righteous practicing Muslim. But our marriage didn't last. I got paranoid a lot, delusional a lot. I had a lot of psychotic episodes quite frequently. And it got to the point that I believe she was poisoning my food, like she was trying to kill me. And Skylar was not helping. She convinced me that it was true. And so once I was convinced that it was true, that my ex-wife was trying to kill me by poisoning my food, I I moved out of the house, moved in with my adopted parents, and we got a divorce. Um, and that's what happened. She didn't understand probably half of what was going on. I remember when I told my ex-wife that I was an alcoholic and had schizophrenia. She, the way she responded wasn't positive or negative. I could tell the day I told her she just didn't know how to respond, like she didn't know what to reply. And she kind of just continued about her day and made dinner. Like it was strange. Like she just carried on. Like I said nothing. Um, I remember going to a NAMI meeting, NAMI, like a support group with her once. I tried to get her to go to support groups with me or by herself. Support groups that are for people who are with someone who has a mental illness. Um, but she never went. She didn't want to go to support groups. She didn't want to read a schizophrenia book or a book about schizophrenia. She didn't want to watch videos about it. She didn't. She didn't try to understand what was going on. Um, in fact, a lot of it, she would tell me, "Oh, you need to pray more. You need to pray 5 times a day. You need to read more Quran. You need to be a better Muslim." Like she took that route to try to tell me that was what was wrong. That was the issue. Um, but yeah, we got divorced. During that time, also I was getting my master's. I think it was about that time. I was completing my graduate degree, and so I was in school again. And that was the moment that Cheyenne showed up briefly. Cheyenne showed up briefly during that time and then went away and then came back recently, or not even recently, came back like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So she showed up, disappeared, then showed up again. But during my graduate degree, Skylar was present like usual. And then Cheyenne showed up. Cheyenne, I described in the beginning of this video. She's more of like a Kentucky mountain girl. She has a southern slang, southern Kentucky, way of speaking. Just a different kind of English. Just really. She enjoys her blue jeans, cowgirl boots, cowgirl hat, her flannels, her tattoos. Like she wears a cross necklace, which doesn't make sense to me because I know she's not from God. I know she's not an angel. She's definitely not divine. No way in hell she is. Not with what she says, not with what comes out of her mouth. She showed up, and then so Skylar and Cheyenne became girlfriends, became best friends, and they started, dogging on me together. Somehow I was able to complete my master's, so I received a master's of science. Again, I don't know how the hell I don't know how the hell I did it. Like, I don't know how I completed those papers, those research, projects, my thesis, dissertation. Like, I don't remember how I did any of that. I don't have memories of completing it. Like, I don't remember a single day studying or typing or being in the library. Like, I don't have a single memory of me during that time. And I know a lot of it is due to alcohol, the drugs, and even my schizophrenia that has impacted my memory severely. But I don't know a lot of schizophrenics who were able to complete both degrees or even, complete a master's, be able to work or travel, to 10, 15, 20 countries. I don't know a lot of people who have done that who have a mental illness as severe as I do. But yeah, Cheyenne showed up during my graduate degree. That was around the time I got divorced. she was a surprise. I remember the day that she showed up. There was a coffee shop that was near my parents' house. It used to be called the Bean Factory. That was what it was called when I was in high school. Um, it was called the Bean Factory, I think. Then it changed names and it had new owners. But there was a coffee shop near my parents' house. I was there one day, just either reading or writing poetry or something, and Cheyenne showed up. She walked up to my table, sat down without asking for an invitation, like, no, can I sit here? She just walked up and sat down. And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't really give it any. I didn't want to acknowledge that she did that. Um, but she started talking, and I was caught off guard by her voice, her southern slang, her. I was just cut off by the way she spoke. And so that's what caused me to look up. And I was not blown away, like I wasn't caught off guard because of her looks. Like, yeah, like she's cute, like she's kind of hot, but I was more blown away just because I was like, you're definitely not like Skylar. Like, this is strange, okay? Um, and so at first I was like, maybe she won't be as evil or maniacal as she won't be as at first I thought she wouldn't be as terrible as Skylar. I had hope. I was like, maybe she'll be good. Maybe she'll say something nice. Maybe she won't make me feel like I want to kill myself. So I had hope. But, Cheyenne sat down. She started talking, and, I saw her cross necklace, and I was like, maybe she'll say something nice. Maybe. But she didn't. I remember the first thing she said. She said I didn't deserve to live. She said that it was my fault that my biological mom killed herself. She said it was my fault that my dad touched me. And she massacred me. Like, she killed me on the inside. She did. And I think my first thought during that time, I was confused, like, because Skylar had said those kind of things, so I wasn't shocked, but I was confused because I was like, how are you saying these things but wearing a cross necklace? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. So it just caught me off guard. So that's when she showed up at first. She stuck around for a little bit, but then she disappeared. That is when around that time is when my adoptive parents helped me buy a house in St. Paul. I sold the house within 4 or 5 months and moved to Alaska. Sorry guys, same guy came down. So back to it. I moved to Alaska, and when I moved to Alaska, it was complicated because I moved to Alaska because of a psychotic episode. I had sold my house because I was manic. I was paranoid. I was delusional. I was hearing voices that were really, really bad at the time. Skylar was persistent, so I was influenced and manipulated, really, to selling the house. And because of the manic episode, I don't really remember a lot during those weeks, almost that entire month. I sold the house. I received a $35,000 check. I had packed my things in my white Jeep and drove to Alaska from Minnesota. By the time I arrived in Alaska, I maybe had $2,000 left of that 35K. Even to even to today, like right now, I really don't know exactly what I spent the money on. I know some of it probably went to hotels, like having a place to sleep. I'm about 95% sure that a lot of it went to alcohol, went to drugs, getting high, escorts, prostitutes, strip clubs. Like, pretty sure the majority of it went to just temptation and lust and things that probably could have got me killed. Overdose, you know. But yeah, because of a manic episode, I moved to Alaska. When I moved to Alaska, I ended up in Seward, which is a harbor town where cruise ships come in and dock and stay, then leave. I ended up working for Seaview Community Services in Seward um, as a crisis counselor, which is ironic. It's ironic because I was a crisis counselor, I was a mental health therapist for people, and then when someone was suicidal, I was sent to talk them down. I was sent to the hospital to do intake assessments to see if they're, you know, if there's a safety concern for them or other people, stuff like that. I say it's ironic because essentially it was a schizophrenic who was hearing voices and seeing things, providing therapy for people, and doing crisis assessments on people while actively being schizophrenic. And a lot of the times I was having an episode, yet somehow was still trying to work. Um, I don't know how I did it, but I was able to sustain it for a couple months. I was, um, until I started having problems, issues again. Um, I started drinking heavily almost every night, stumbling my way home, you know, wake up in the morning, just sitting on my floor, my clothes dirty, whether I puked or vomited or whatever. Um, just blacked out, just don't really remember that night. That started happening more frequently. But when I was in Seward, that's where I met Liz. And that's where I say things changed for a period of time, where I thought things were getting better, where I thought I had a chance to live life. Like when I met her was when I kind of had a feeling of hope again. But it didn't last, like always. The day I met Liz, I remember that day. I've talked about it in other videos. I might have not shared these details, but the day I met her, I had a 9mm in my desk. Now, anyone who knows, 99% of workplaces, you aren't allowed to bring weapons. I didn't give a shit. Not during that time. Because I was having episodes and I wasn't clear of mind. I wasn't thinking straight. Skylar had really just convinced me that I was better off dead. And so I bought a 9mm, put it in my desk. And that day I met Liz, 10 minutes before I met her, I was in my office, the door was closed. I had put the barrel of the gun to my head, and Skylar was sitting on that couch in my office like she was one of my patients, one of my clients. And she was telling me, she was like, this is a good thing. Pull the trigger. Do it. You know, life isn't worth living. You know, look at how much pain you're in. You'll be in a better place. You know, if you do this, you'll be in a better place. I promise you. She was saying these things. I just remember her sitting there. Such a weird fucking image. Just this emo goth chick just sitting there, just trying to convince you that you should kill yourself. Like, it's a very strange thing to think about, but that's what was happening to me. So I pulled the trigger. I listened. And the gun, like I've said in other videos, the gun jammed. It fucking jammed. And it was about that time when a coworker named Roland showed up to my office and introduced me to Liz. When I met Liz for the first time, I knew something was different about her. I did. Liz was special. I could tell in her eyes that she was a righteous, that she was a pious person. I could tell in the way she spoke that she genuinely cared about people. She in a genuine manner, with full sincerity, loved people. That she tried everything she could just to make people's lives better around her. And I could tell that about her right away. And so I was drawn to that. And I started talking to her. We lived across the hall within the same building for a while. And I would talk to her every day, see her every day. We would hang out almost every day. And we got to know each other. And she was one of the few people in my life that I told about my schizophrenia quite early. Like, I told her pretty early. I remember one time where I had texted her or called her or something, and I was like, I'm not doing well. Will you go on a walk with me along the harbor and just walk with me? And she said yes. And when that happened, I knew she was the one. You know, when she was willing to walk with me along the harbor and along the sandy, rocky beach and just listen to me and not judge, and she was willing to hear what I was struggling with. It was in that moment, like, I knew she was the one that I wanted to love, that she was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And so we began to talk a little bit more seriously. That was probably around the time I met her parents on FaceTime, over video call. And we made the decision to rent an apartment together. We moved into this 2-bedroom apartment while working together at the same place. And so we moved in and we were getting along. We started to get closer and we became romantic partners. We began dating, as people say. We're a couple. That was probably the happiest moment of my life, or the happiest time of my life. It honestly was. It was the simple things of, going grocery shopping with her and just standing next to her, seeing her laugh, smile. Us picking out food together that we knew we would make and eat together. Like, it was just those simple joys. Watching stupid, silly movies on the couch and just laughing at how stupid and bad they were. Like, we would watch 1 or 2-star reviewed movies on Amazon just because we knew that they were pretty crappy movies, but funny. The simple things of just preparing dinner with her in the kitchen and holding her close and, kissing the back of her neck and just telling her I love her. I miss those moments. It was probably 1 or 2 months in, after we were dating, that things started to get things started to get a little bit tricky. Things started to get a bit tough for us as a partnership, as partners. I started experiencing manic episodes more, paranoia, delusions, the auditory hallucinations, the voices started picking up again. They were getting louder and louder, more vocal, more vulgar as time went on. Um, Skylar started appearing around more, just becoming more persistent that, oh, she doesn't love you, you don't deserve her, you shouldn't be together, she doesn't care about you. If she knew about me or if she knew actually what you're going through, she would leave you. Like Skylar was saying these kind of things. So things started getting rough. Liz basically began to pay for all my medication, all my therapy appointments. I wasn't able to hold down a job soon after. So she would pay all the bills, the rent, the groceries. It didn't matter how many good memories we had together. Like, I have so many photos of us together just holding each other, just kissing each other, and just being happy. And it doesn't matter how many moments I have that time saved. Because the bad moments, the moments to where Liz was reminded that I'm broken, that I can't give her what she deserved, those moments weighed way more heavily on her than all the good times. And so I get why she left. So she left. She ended things. She broke up with me while we were living in Anchorage. She moved into her own apartment. I moved into low-income housing. And that's about the time when Skylar and Cheyenne, joined teams again, and they were both present in my life. I had this emo goth Russian cunt talking nonsense about I don't deserve to live, and then this Kentucky Southern fake angel slash demonic hellraiser country girl just slinging insult after insult about how stupid, ugly, and worthless I am. Yeah. Around that time, me and Liz were still friends. We hung out together. We, went out to eat. We went to thrift stores. Like, we were still good friends. Eventually, I moved from Alaska to Minnesota to where I am now. I moved probably about going on 8-9 months ago, I think. It was during Christmas of 2024. I've talked about in my other videos as well that I don't think I mentioned this part, but Christmas of 2024 was the worst time in my life. Like, it was the worst moment, the lowest moment, the worst rock bottom I've ever hit in my life. It was worse than all the overdose. It was worse than all the blackouts, the times I got high, times I got drunk. It was worse than all the times I woke up handcuffed to someone's bed with bruises on my body. Like, the psychotic episode I had during Christmas of last year, I'll never forget because it changed my life. It did. Skylar and Cheyenne were were the worst I've ever heard and seen them. Every day, they just hammered home. Like, it was 24 hours every day. I just kept hearing over and over, you don't deserve to live. You deserve to die. You're pathetic. You're worthless. Nobody loves you. No one cares about you. Look at you're alone. You have no friends. You know, you can't trust Liz. You can't trust Ingrid. You can't trust Hamza. Like, they were just hammering it down. They were, you're so pathetic. Like, your parents didn't even love you. Your biological parents don't love you. That's why they're dead. Your adopted parents don't love you. They want nothing to do with you, which is probably true because I've hurt them a lot over the years. But Skylar and Cheyenne were just so fucking terrible, you know. And they were like, you need to, cut yourself. You need to harm yourself. You deserve it. You deserve all the scars, all the pain. And then at the same time, there was just the other voices in my head. There was paranoia of just not trusting people, of refusing to go to the hospital because I thought doctors would, strap me down in a gurney and cut me open and steal my organs. Like, I was really paranoid, thinking people were after my soul. There was just a lot going on. And so Skylar and Cheyenne got so bad that I made a deal with them. I made a deal with them that if I kill myself, will you leave me alone? If I kill myself, will you shut up, leave me alone, like I'll never see you again? And they agreed. They said yes. And it was during that moment when I started writing suicide letters, suicide notes. Like, a lot of blog posts I wrote were about me killing myself, me ending my life. And so Liz would call and text me every day being like, you need help, go to the hospital. I love you, I care about you. You need help, please listen to me. And Skylar and Cheyenne were like, you can't trust her. She doesn't want to help you. She just wants you to get locked up. And so they convinced me that Liz was trying to trick me, that she was lying to me. At one point, they convinced me that she was a clone, that it wasn't really her texting me or calling me. And so a lot of the times I would reply to her text messages or, audio calls, her voice messages with, what do you want? Why are you texting me? What do you really want? What do you really want? What are you not telling me? Why aren't you telling me the truth? And it got to the point that Liz was like, I can't talk to you anymore. I can't talk to you unless you go to the hospital and get help. And it was because I was putting her through so much pain. Every day she probably was worried, what the hell is he going to do? Is he going to harm himself? Is he going to kill himself? Like, the amount of worry and pain that causes when it comes to your friends and family, it's indescribable. It's too much to bear. That burden, it's too much to carry. And so I understand why she was like, nope, I'm done. I can't be your friend anymore. Like, no, I can't. So she she separated herself from me totally. So I was stuck with Cheyenne and Skylar. And I made that plan. It was Christmas Day or the day after Christmas, where I woke up. I took the bus. I think it was the day after Christmas. I took the bus to Crossroads Mall, and I planned on going to Dick's Sporting Goods. My plan was to go to Dick's Sporting Goods, buy 2 hunting knives, take them out of their packaging, and start walking around the mall, looking as dangerous, as psycho as I possibly could, because Skylar and Cheyenne convinced me that the police would respond and they would shoot me because I posed a threat to people. That's what I was thinking during Christmas of last year. Um, but like I said, that psychotic episode during Christmas, it changed my life because not only did I lose my best friend, Liz, um, and because of her just being like, I want nothing to do with you, it caused me to reflect even a little bit to where I was so psychotic, I was so crazy that Skylar and Cheyenne convinced me so well to kill myself in the way I was trying to do, but at the same time, because of Liz left me and was just like, I can't be your friend, in the back of my mind, I was like, I lost my only friend, the only person who understands me. Like, what am I going to do? And it was because of what she did that I woke up that day, didn't take the bus. I had decided to take a shower, and within seconds of me getting in the shower and the hot water just, running down my back, I collapsed on my shower floor. I was crying like a goddamn baby, um, tears running down my face, and that's when I started praying. I started begging God that I don't want to die, that I'm sorry for all the pain I caused everybody in my life, all the pain I caused Liz, all the times I hurt her. I was praying to God. I was saying I was sorry over and over and over. And I wasn't even asking God to take my sickness away. Like, not a single thought went through my head asking God to cure me or heal me of schizophrenia. That didn't go through my head. Instead, what I remember praying about was asking God to hear me, to listen to me, and to show me that He cares and loves me. That's what I was asking for. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I mean, people will say it's crazy. I know people will think that I'm insane, and that's fine. But in that moment, when I was on the floor in my shower, crying, naked, broken, God spoke to me. He told me He loved me. He was listening. He told me that I was precious, that I had a purpose, that my purpose was greater than I could ever imagine. And He told me He forgave me. And when I heard this, I didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't take a minute to think about it. Right away, I was like, I promised God. I was like, from that moment on, I promised Him I'm going to do the best I can to show you I love you, to show you that I care about making you happy, making God happy, of seeking His praise. And so I remember telling God that I love your Son, I love Jesus, and I'm willing to follow Him through thick and, through the highs and lows. No matter what happens, I'm willing to follow your Son because He's my Lord and Savior. I remember the warmth and the comfort I felt in my shower. And it wasn't even the hot water. I remember feeling like I was in someone's arms. Like they were just giving me a bear hug, and I remember feeling safe and content and at peace in that moment. Like just pure peace, pure contentment. Something that I've never felt before. And I knew what I had to do in that moment. And so ever since that moment, I've been posting videos on YouTube. I've been posting, poetry and videos on my WordPress, on Facebook. And I knew from that moment my purpose was to preach God's message, His word, to preach the gospel, to try to bring people closer to Christ. I knew that was my purpose. And I knew that God uses broken soldiers. He does. God utilizes His children that are broken, that are going through shit, right? God uses people who have flaws and weaknesses because it's those kind of people that can relate to others. When someone like me is an alcoholic who is an addict in recovery, we're able to relate to people who are struggling, whether it's mental health, physical health, whether it's trauma, abuse, domestic violence. Like, people who are struggling can relate to other people on such a deeper level because we've been through it. Like, we know what that hurt, that pain feels like to carry. And so in that moment, I knew my purpose was to share my story with people. It was. And since that moment, it's been, let me see, December, January, March. So what, January for 3 months? It's been 3 months, about 3-4 months. My schizophrenia wasn't healed. It wasn't cured. Nope, neither. I am still a recovering addict, a recovering alcoholic every day I wake up. I'm still a schizophrenic every day I wake up. That's never going to change. I know God never was going to cure or heal my illness. Never. And I say that because I know it is part of my purpose to have schizophrenia. It is part of my purpose to have it as a trial, as a struggle. To have addiction as just part of my past, as part of who I am. Because it is through those struggles, those trials, those tribulations that bring me closer to God on a daily basis. And what's interesting is these past 2-3 months, I've had moments to where my schizophrenia kind of goes buck wild a little bit. Usually it lasts for maybe 3, 4, 5 days at the most. But it's controllable. Like, I'm able to work my way through it, process, reflect, and get through it. Same thing with addiction and sobriety and substance abuse. Like, there's days where I have really bad cravings, but I'm able to persevere. So, but there's other days to where, oh boy, guys, I mess up, I fall, I make real bad mistakes. Like, holy shit, like, yes. There's times where, I give in to temptations, my pornography addiction. It happens. It's happened quite a few times. Of moments where I'm on social media, on Facebook, and I watch a video of a real cute girl. I watch a video of a real hot, lady, and I leave a comment on her video of how beautiful she is, and that I'm interested and want to get to know you. Like, there's times where I give in to that temptation of, explicit videos and lust and pornography. Like, I know I'm a sinner. I am perfect. There's times to where the voices get me to doubt. They do. And not doubt in terms of walking away from God or not believing in Christ. No, not that kind of doubt. But there are times where my schizophrenia, the voices, the paranoia, the delusions, cause me just to be able to, ask questions of, is he really listening? Does he really care? Does he really love me? It's those kind of questions. But I'm able to realize, you know, that, oh, in this moment, Satan's trying to influence me. He's trying to distract me. He's trying to lead me astray. He's trying to distance me from God, from Christ. I'm able to realize that and remind myself that, God loves me, that He's with me, and I'm not alone. So I'm able to persevere in those moments. Um, yeah. But this morning I was just really surprised. I'm really surprised right now because it's been, 2, 3, whatever, 4 months or whatever, 2, 3, 4 months since the last time Cheyenne and Skylar have been hanging around me nonstop. Like, they've been with me, like, just following me everywhere today since 3 a.m. They refuse to shut the hell up. They keep nonstop just insulting me just over and over. When I was at Starbucks this morning trying to write up, the description of this video and just all the other stuff, and they were just sitting at my table. They were cruel and evil. And they were doing everything they can to mentally crush my spirits and just take away that feeling of hope and love in my heart. And so all day today, they've just been on the attack, on the prowl. It caught me by surprise this morning. I don't know what triggered it. I don't know what triggered my schizophrenia this morning, like why or how it's happening. Overall, I've been okay. I mean, there's been a couple days, these past few weeks to where things are not great, but that was more related to loneliness of like in my previous video I talked about companionship and just feeling lonely, of not having someone special to just show love and affection to. I don't think that was the reason why they showed up, or maybe it was. Maybe Skylar and Cheyenne saw that weakness and exploited it, and now they're here, bugging the hell out of me because they realize, oh, look, he's lonely. He's struggling. Look at that. Let's go see if we can knock him off balance and see how low of a bottom we can get him to hit. Maybe that was the reason why they're here. I don't know. Maybe that's what triggered them. But that was about the only thing I can think of that has been off the past couple of weeks. Even though Skylar and Cheyenne have showed up, it hasn't changed my mind about meds or therapy. I mean, therapy maybe a little bit. I've been looking online at therapy online, like BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com is one. And then there's another one I saw, like I think it's like 3 cups of coffee or something like that. But I've been looking at online therapy through BetterHelp, maybe to do like once a week or once every couple weeks, just to have someone to talk to, maybe. Which surprises me a lot because in the past I've talked about how therapy has never worked for me. That therapy never has helped me in my years of trying it. So it surprises me that I'm thinking about doing it again. I don't know why I'm thinking about doing it again. I'm not sure if maybe I'm just hopeful of trying to give it another shot to maybe see if it was the therapist or if it was the situation or just the point or time in my life that I was at. But thinking about it, maybe. Um, but yeah. But medication for sure is 100% no. I'm sticking to that. I am, at least for now. And that's because every single time I've been on medication, it's ended badly, terribly, disastrously, to where every single medication I've been on ended with me being a lethargic, slow thinking, incapable of having a conversation, zombie state of mind. So I just don't want that. I know without a doubt I would rather be 100% schizo. I know without a doubt I would rather be 100% schizo. I can't talk. Sorry. Without a doubt, I know 100% I would rather be a psycho schizo who is aware and present minded and able to think and hear his thoughts, compared to a drug induced zombie schizo. Like, I know which one I would rather choose. But that's just me. So I'm definitely 100% no on meds. Nope, never, I refuse. And I'm still thinking that way, even though Skylar and Cheyenne has been, even though I'm thinking that way, even though Skylar and Cheyenne have been giving me issues today. I don't know how long they're going to stick around. I really don't. I don't know if it's a couple days, if it's a week, if it's longer than that. I don't know. But this is what's going on, guys. Really, I wanted you guys to know, to see. So if you're interested, click the link in the description. I used some AI generated art to show you what I see when it comes to Skylar and Cheyenne, so you can kind of understand what I'm seeing, and wrote a little bit about them so you can kind of get an idea of their personality, of what they're like. But yeah, I apologize that this wasn't the topic that I originally planned, but I hope in the next couple days I'll upload that video. I'll try my best depending how I feel, because I know the next couple days are going to be tough for me to get through. But like always, I know I have to depend on God, trust God that, that He's present, He's aware, He's listening. I have to lean on God for support and comfort. I know that. I have to continue to pray, multiple times a day and seek His comfort and His wisdom. And I need to remember that Jesus Christ lived. He suffered. He knows my pain. He knows what I'm going through. He knows exactly how I feel. And Jesus Christ knows exactly what I need right now. And He's able to provide that medicine for me. So I need to keep that stuff in mind, of the importance of faith and prayer and reading scripture, and that God is good, that God is love. But yeah, this video was about 1 hour and 30 minutes, so I apologize, guys. Like always, I'll end with just reminding every single one of you, I don't care what country you live in, whether it's America, Mexico, Somalia, Russia, China. Like, I don't care where you live, Saudi Arabia. I don't care if you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, atheist, Hindu, Buddhist. None of that matters to me. Whether you're gay, straight, non-binary, like a pink unicorn who identifies as frog or frogger, like, no matter who you are, I love you. Your life is precious. You're cared for. You're important. And that God loves you. That Jesus Christ loves you. And Jesus Christ wants to get to know you. And He wants to be able to bless you with salvation and grace. He does. These videos aren't to judge you, aren't to point a finger and be like, oh, you've done this wrong, you're doing this, your lifestyle's this, your lifestyle's that. No. All of my videos are me talking about the fact that I love you and I want to be able to see you build and have that loving, nurturing relationship with Christ and God, our Father. You know, I make these videos because I don't want to see you make the same mistake I did in my life. I don't want to see you guys make the same mistakes when it comes to addiction or lust or pornography or alcohol, you know, of mental health, stuff like that. If someone truly loves you, they're not going to sit by and watch you do things that are hurtful towards you. You know, if someone truly loves you, they're not going to sit by and watch you make mistakes that are going to lead you towards, towards suffering. No, if they love you, they're gonna speak up. They're gonna say something. But anyway, guys, I hope this is helpful. Like I said, the WordPress link will be in the description of this video. Anyways, guys, I love you. I'm going to pray for all of you. And I'm sure, I pray that, I'll be fine. I will. Might take a couple days, maybe more than that. But I'll keep you guys up to date. Find me on Facebook, everyone. I'll include the link to my Facebook in the description of this video as well. So you guys can friend request me and connect with me that way. But I love you guys. Have a good day or a good night wherever you live. Much love.